Hey you, welcome or welcome back to Booking with Star. I am your host Star, of course, and over here on this channel we talk and do all things books. Today we're going to be doing my February recap where I tell you guys all the books that I read in February. I'm also going to be giving you guys a quick book tour because I realized in my last video, if you did not watch that video of me reorganizing my bookshelf, and I created my very own reading corner. I'm going to put it up here in one of these corners. Make sure you go check that video out. But I did want to do a book tour in that video and I did not. So after we do my February recap and my March definite, I'm going to give you guys a quick little tour of the bookshelf. Okay, so let's get into the details. The first book that we got is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. This is such a beautiful, magical story. I love this book so much. I rated it 5 stars. And let me tell y'all, I'm not even necessarily a romance girly, but give me some magical realism and I'm going to eat it up every time. First of all, let's admire the cover. This beautiful ass cover. Cover is absolutely beautiful. I did start the month off with this book and I feel like it was a perfect book to read because, you know, Valentine's Day, it was also Black History Month, and this book touches so much on like the Harlem Renaissance and Black history. It names so many Black gems. It took place in February, and I didn't even intentionally do that. I didn't even know it was going to take place in February. I just knew that it was like a love story. I was just like, all right, it's February. Let me start the month off with a love story. I wanted to get into this, and it was just so perfect for all the elements of February. We're following Ricky, who is the youngest of 4 sisters. Her family owns a chain of funeral homes, and of course, all of her sisters, when they got older, they took part into this business, and of course, her family wants her to also take part into this business, and Ricky does not want to. Ricky wants to do her own thing. She wants to venture out. She is also like the black sheep of the family. She is the one that everyone kind of looks down upon. She's the one that gets into trouble. She just be in her own world doing her own thing. She just has like a beautiful old soul. She's into like nature and flowers, and she wants to open a flower shop. One day while she's at the funeral home, this lady comes in because her husband passed away, and they're chopping it up, talking to each other, and their connection is almost instant. She tells her, like, I have this place, I live in Harlem, I have this vacant empty spot on top of my building, like, girl, you can have it. So Ricky moves to Harlem to start her own business. One night she's taking this stroll in this park and she runs into Ezra, and when I tell y'all, when Ezra sees her, he is in amazement, he is in awe, but he is also very much shooketh. Okay, he is scared as shit. You could see the horror on his face, and he dips out of there. It is dual perspective. We're following Ricky's perspective, we're following Ezra's perspective. It is also a time lapse, so we're going from February 2024 all the way back to like 1920. This is where we're getting like that Harlem Renaissance, that jazz, that music. And when I tell you, you feel so engulfed, like you are in Harlem, you're in one of those little jazz back shots with the people beat bopping. It is so absolutely beautiful. And the story, you dive into why he was in such amazement with her when he first saw her, and why he was also very much shook. I absolutely ate this story up. I love this so much. This was Chef's Kiss. And next we got the Drew Collins series, which is The Secret World of Maggie Gray by Granger. And then we have The First Family by Granger. This is a trilogy. I actually have the 3rd book on the shelf. That's one of the books that I'm going to be getting into in March. I rated this one 4 stars, and I gave this one 5 stars. This one right here was everything that I wanted from this book. These revolve around a magical Black HBCU that is in the underground of Atlanta. So I went into this thinking that this was going to be like super fantasy, but baby, this was given very much urban fiction to me, like a Black magical HBCU urban fiction. There was so much mess, so much chaos going on. We're also just learning about this school, learning the history. We're learning more about Maggie's background. As you can see, Maggie has this white hair. This white mark to this school is a part of the First Family, who are the people who created this school. But of course, you know, they're not very much like that. So Maggie's an outcast. People are looking at her like, oh, you got this white hair. First of all, the First Family not even supposed to be able to have kids. So how are you claiming to be a granddaughter of the guy who created the school? And Maggie's just like, baby, I'm just trying to learn who I am just as much as you. Her friend group consists of a witch, a siren, there's werewolves, there's just so many mystical creatures. I really did enjoy reading this, but I did want more like fantasy. I wanted more mystery solving. I wanted them to come more into their powers and learn more about using their powers. And this one right here gave me everything that I wanted from the first family. We still had that urban fiction feel. We still had the drama. We still had the chaos. We still had their individual stories of their like life and things that they were going through on a day-to-day basis. But now there was the mystery solving. Now there was the magic and the feel and more people and more of them using their powers and coming into their powers. I absolutely ate this one up. We come into Bellamy, who is this character right here on the front. Absolutely loved him. This is the third book. Look at this fucking cover. And if you watched my last video of me reorganizing my bookshelf, I opened this book and I had originally got this one. But baby, when I seen that Amazon upgraded the covers, because this is the one that I originally wanted, but Amazon did not have it. When I seen that Amazon upgraded that cover, baby, you know I had to get it. Of course, there's a love interest that is forbidden. So I think this one is going to get more into their story, as well as figuring out what the hell happened to all those people that got unalived in the first two. Love these stories down. Next, we got The Spook That Sat by the Door by Sam Greenlee, and this was a short little read. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. This is between the Black Power movement between like 1960 and 1970. We're following our main character, Dan Freeman, who was enlisted in the CIA program, because in the beginning, our president, who's trying to win the votes of Black people, points out this fact that the CIA doesn't bring in Black people. They need to start a program to allow Black people to enlist in the CIA. So Dan gets this opportunity as their coin Negro, but they don't know that Dan got his own plan, mastering all of their techniques, learning all the things that they do and how they do it. And he decides to drop out of this program so that he could go back to Chicago and teach the gangs all of these things that he learned to combat the racism that's going on in their neighborhoods. Like I said, this is during the Black Power movement. It's during the 1960s, 1970s. So y'all already know the type of vibes that is going on. And I just thought that that was so amazing, because we all know gang culture. We all know how gangs work. 9 times out of 10, they're fighting against each other instead of fighting the outside enemies. Freeman goes back to the hood and teaches these gang members all of the things that he learned in the CIA, teaching them about weapons, teaching them about knowledge, teaching them how to be an organization and move kind of like a Black CIA to work against all of the white cops and the white system. Only thing about this is that I didn't really like the ending, and it could have been like 100-page longer to me, but I still enjoyed this. Next is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I am not yet finished. I still got a little bit left, but I'm still counting this in my February recap because it's almost finished. I believe I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Something that's very interesting about this book, especially when I started reading it, is that this book was written in like 1993, but it's taking place between 2024 all the way, right now I'm like up to 2027. And when I picked this baby up to read it, I got to a point where her journal entry was Saturday, February 22nd, 2025, which was the day before. I was in February 23rd, 2025. She was in February 22nd, 2025. And I just thought that that was the creepiest shit. We're following Lauren as she lives in this post-apocalyptic America. When I tell you America is in shit, baby, it is in shit. She's like, her neighborhood is like in the middle, and they live in between this wall that is keeping them blocked out from all of the chaos. And the people are damn near zombies. They're not really zombies, but that's just what I'm calling them. They're zombies. They're on drugs. They're crazy. They're homeless. There are fires. It's just America's chaotic. She also suffers from hyper empathy, so everything that people are feeling, she feels. If someone gets shot or hurt or breaks a bone in front of her, she is going down right along with them. This book reads kind of like Anne Frank. Y'all remember Anne Frank during the Holocaust, how the book was basically like just like her journal entries? This is exactly how this reads. Every entry is a journal entry from Lauren, and we're just reading about what she's going through, what she's feeling. I will say it started off a little slow for me and kind of like repetitive, but then we get to the point where she's kind of forced outside of that area. We're following her journey while she is also kind of creating her own religion. You learned that from the beginning of the book, that what her dad's a pastor, what she used to believe about God, she no longer believes, and she has her own theology. While we're following her journal entries, we're also following her creating kind of like her own Bible, so to speak, what she believed God is. And while she is navigating this outside world now, all of this chaos and having to fend for her life, she's also gaining community. She's getting people to come along with her on this journey who are also, you know, fighting for their life and trying to find somewhere of freedom. Starting to teach them about her theology, starting to give her quotes and her Bible verses. Like I said, I'm not yet finished yet, but I do believe I'm going to give this 4 stars, maybe 4.5 stars, depending on how it ends. But I really do enjoy this story. So the next couple reads I read on Rita. If you don't know who Rita is my iPad mini. She's for all things books. So I also read Finessing My Husband's Side Chick by Sin. This was a fun, messy read. It was only like 100 and something pages. The title is exactly what the book is about. Our main character comes home one day to find her husband in her bed. I'm gonna say in her bed. They live together, but our main character is funding everything financially, okay? He's still trying to find his way. He is creating a business that is funded by our main character. She comes home one day, finds him in bed with another woman. She was better than me because she peeped this and quietly left out of that house very distraught. But she gets her get back because she decides, you know what? I'm about to take your bitch from you. And that is exactly the story. I gave this 3.5 stars. It was a fun read. The next book that we got, Hoodwinked by Desiree. So this is written by Granger, who is the same person who wrote The Secret World of Maggie Gray or the Drew Collins series. She goes by Granger now, but her name is Desiree Granger. So after I read this, I really was enticed to go read some of her other work. She has a very hefty catalog, and I'm gonna be in her catalog for a while. This is Hoodwink. This honestly gives a TV show. Like, I feel like I could be watching this on BET. We're following a bunch of different perspectives. Honestly, we have Pia, Homer, Jasmine, Pyru, Percy. So many different characters, but they're all intertwined and interlinked with each other. And at first, they don't even know it. So as the story gradually progresses, you learn how all of their stories are connected. This is also like another magical realism because it takes place in Atlanta, but we're dealing with witches, so to speak. Not even witches, but they do spells. Like, one of the families do spells, they do voodoo on people, a lot of magical elements, but then we're also very much in the hood. So much drama and chaos. We actually start the story with one of our main characters, Jasmine, who goes to meet Delilah, who is like this medium. She goes there for this reading, and Delilah asks her 3 things that she wants. She gives her answers, and Delilah's like, I bet like, all of those things are gonna happen for you, but they're gonna happen like this. And Jasmine is like, no, I don't want that to happen like this. Like, I asked for that. I don't want that. And that's basically how the story starts off, and we just follow the story from there. I gave this 4 stars. There's a second book which is called Moon Run. I'm probably going to be reading that this month because I need to know what is gonna be happening, because it did on a crazy ass cliffhanger. And so that was my February recap. I believe I read 7 books. I am gonna give you guys my star of the month, The Girl That Stole the Show. If I had to recommend any of the books that I read this month, this would be it. And of course, it is a love song for Ricky Wilde. This is on my only 5 star of the month anyway, but I feel like this is going to be one of my top reads of 2025. So now I'm just gonna give you guys a quick bookshelf tour before we end this video out. So this is the top of my bookshelf where I just have some showcases. We have Immortal Dark by Tigis Germa, Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. We have my bookmarks and just a couple of my favorite things right here. This is a stamp that my sister gave me. I think I stamped this book just to show y'all. It says like from the library of, let me see. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. It says from the library of Starasia Jennings, which is me. I absolutely love that. And then we have Legendborn and my Drew Collins book 1. And then if we come down here, as you can see, we start off with my Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. And we make our way all the way across. So all of these are all of my fantasy books that I own. Shaft's definitely not a fantasy, but I put it right there because it was small and it just filled that space. We come down here, fantasy stops about right here, and then we get into all of my magical realism, which is only like these 3 books, and then we move on to all of my sci-fis, which stops about right here. And then once we're done with sci-fis, we go into my thrillers. And we come down, have more of my thrillers, which stops about right here, I believe. And then we go into my horror reads. Once horror stops about right here, these are like all of my urban fiction books that I own. And then this goes into kind of like miscellaneous things. So I have some Toni Morrison, I have some historical fiction, and then these are just like contemporary things going on. And there's my little guy right here. This is actually supposed to be at the top, but I put it right there to stop my books from falling. But we can put her back up here. Isn't she so freaking cute? So cute. So yeah, that is my little bookshelf tour. These are all of the books that I've accumulated within the last year. March actually marks a year since I've been on my reading journey, and this is where we are right now. It's just so amazing to think in the year I have gained over 100 books in my personal library, and we're still growing. And you guys are going to be here to witness my library continue to grow to go to this, to see where my library is next March. I'm so freaking excited. Like when I tell y'all I'm going to have a room dedicated to nothing but books, all of the walls are going to be covered with books, and I might have more than one room. My house is going to be covered in books. Like I'm gonna have books in the kitchen, books in the living room, books in the basement. It's gonna be so amazing. But if you made it this far in the video and you are not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Make sure that you guys go hit that subscribe button, because you clearly jacking the book vibes. You guys are welcome to like and comment. I will definitely chat up with you guys in the comments. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys next time.